Welcome back to another episode of Holistic Cat Care Live Q&A. I am Pam with Perfectly Holistic, and happy Thursday to everyone. We're streaming on Instagram separately so that I can see your questions and comments over here tonight. And we're also on our Facebook and YouTube channels. So thank you guys for jumping on. I hope your summer is off to a great start. I can't believe we're here in June. And I have to apologize for the scratchy voice. I have a sinus infection that is kicking my butt. And so I'm going to cut a little short tonight because it's really hard for me to talk. So, but I didn't want to cancel on you guys because I know there's a lot of people out there that need some help. So I want to welcome Bonnie. Thank you for coming out tonight. I hope you and your babies are doing well. Give my love to your boys. If you are watching tonight, hop on and drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from so I can say hi to you. So, yeah, and we're here to support you as cat parents who want to learn how to apply a more holistic approach for whatever is challenging you with your cat right now. It can be behavior, it can be food, it can be questions about products or supplements and things like that. So, yeah, be thinking about what kind of questions or things that you want to learn more about or that you might be even struggling with at the moment with your kitty cats. And let's see what we can come up with to find some ways to support you, give you some ideas and things like that. So, let's see. First of all, I wanted to just plug my mastering muscle testing program because I find that I don't think people realize how powerful this modality is. If you do not know how to muscle test for yourself or for your pets, you are missing out big time because it really does help you streamline what products to use, what foods to use, how to select vets even. um, there's so much information that you can ask the body, and once you really get good at mastering this on yourself, you can easily transition over to checking in on your pets and their well-being and their health. You can also partner with your vet for protocols for testing, for diagnostics that might resonate as providing a very strong benefit for whatever answers you're seeking or information that you're seeking. So it's like a mentorship program. I basically walk you through and teach you what I know so that you can be your pet's best advocate. And it can also help you drill down to find energetic root causes. And I'm going to give you an example that I actually used on myself this week when I figured out that I was coming down with a fever the other day, and it was related to my sinuses. It was a bacterial infection, and I wanted to know exactly what kind of bacteria I was dealing with, just out of curiosity, because yes, you can get that information too. Hello, love. That must be Adrian. Oh, I missed you guys so much. Um, so I work with charts, and I teach you how to work with charts, energetic, and words or frequencies. So you can go through and find out what frequencies are resonating with imbalance or causing stress and things like that. And the bacteria that came up was called Moraxella. Oh, hey, Jay. So Moraxella, I had never heard of it before, but it's on my chart that I created. And so I was just curious, like, what does that exactly look like, and how does it manifest, and what are the typical symptoms and things like that? I was blown away because Moraxella is a kind of a common bacteria, but when it gets out of control or out of balance, it's usually because you have a weakened immune system. And I have been struggling with upper respiratory allergies for a while now. And I was starting to, obviously, it's my front sinuses were clear, that I could feel, if you've ever had postnasal drip, it wakes you up at night, you have a sore throat, things like that. That was one of the symptoms, as well as fever and affecting your middle ear. And it feels like pressure, or at least earlier this week it did. It felt like pressure on my middle ear. And I have felt that in the recent weeks just because allergies were so bad. So I think this has been building for a little while. So when each one of those, boxes were checked and I was matching my symptoms to exactly how this thing presents, I was blown away. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I know this works because I do it on myself and I do it on my cats all the time, right? But when you have these personal experiences, it's it's still mind blowing. Okay. Um, so yeah, I've just been muscle testing myself for homeopathy and I found perfect remedies and even going online to find like specifically what's the best homeopathic remedy to combat that Moraxella bacteria. And guess what? There was one. And it was one I was using. So it was just, it's so mind blowing sometimes. So yeah, I'm doing a combination of homeopathy and colloidal nano silver and essential oils to help keep my sinuses open. I'm doing nasal rinses and things like that a couple times a day. Um, so this is funny. The one time I did not test to see if something would be beneficial before I actually used something, turns out it was not, and it made the condition a little worse. I have you ever like done some research online and you're like, oh, that sounds like a really good idea. I'm going to try that. Well, I was looking for homemade like nasal rinses and found a really great site, and they showed the basics and they said, oh, and you can add this product, this product, this product, and one of the things that was kind of like an antiseptic was apple cider vinegar. Just put a little bit into this water mixture with salt. I thought, well, that sounds good. I have some. I have that. I'll try that. And that was a really bad idea. I was so congested last night. It kept me up all night. So that was not a good idea. And when I muscle tested this morning, if that was the cause of what made it worse, I got a big yes. So now I have infection in the front and the back because everything was closed off and I had to breathe through my mouth all night. So yeah, I know it's a lot of information, but I'm just trying to share how fascinating it is when you can muscle test and figure out what's working, what's not working, find the things. Don't do what I did, test before you try something. It's a hard lesson to learn sometimes, but I'm not going to use apple cider vinegar next time. I have other options that I'm going to do. But yeah, it's just fascinating how you can fast track yourself to healing. And so, yeah, if you want to learn how to do this and become your best advocate so that you can become your pet's best advocate, I strongly recommend considering doing the Master and Muscle Testing program for Healthy, Happy Pets, because everything you learn in this program you can use on yourself, on your family, on your partner. It's fascinating, and you will become so empowered and really develop your intuition in a way that you would probably blow your mind. So, all that to say, thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you, Bonnie, for your well wishes. And definitely, yes, I'm drinking a ton of water, and that's another reason I stay up all night because, you have to make those bathroom trips, right? Apart from not being able to breathe through your nose, it's just absolutely crazy. Um, but yeah, we're moving in the right direction. It's just going to take a little bit longer than I anticipated because I was doing so well yesterday. And it's like you stub your toe and you land on you injure your knee or something, right? When things were just going along really well, and then all of a sudden you make a wrong turn. So even those of us who are good at this still make mistakes. So don't do that. But tell me what you guys are struggling with tonight. And I know Jay and Adrian have been doing this deep cleaning on their house, and they've had their roof repaired, and they are cleaning up pee and working with the feline behaviorists to help bring peace and solace to your family and to your felines. So I know that's a huge stressor. So yeah, and they're using beautiful methods like color therapy and tenting, which is great for providing cats that security to feel like they're hiding, to just ground themselves and feel more secure, support their root chakra during this all the noise and everything. So, hats off to you guys. And I know you're probably using some herbal, like herb gardens and things like that too. I'm going to be doing some energy work on their babies once it's all over with to just clear whatever stress is, hanging on after this whole ordeal is over. And my heart goes out to you. I had my roof replaced back in October of last year. And yeah, but I'll tell you what, we don't have a huge house. They were done in 4 hours. They started at 6:30 in the morning and they were done by 10:30. I was shocked. Um, so yeah, may everybody's roof take 4 hours to replace. It is no fun having the bang, bang, bang and all the drilling and it is what it is. You're going to have a beautiful roof and it's going to, your house won't leak, and that's really important. Um, okay, so let's see. BJW over here on YouTube says I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a she or he. 14-month-old neutered male that has developed seizures. Oh my gosh. And now we are living with phenobarbital and Keppra repeatedly each day. I am so sorry. Um, my first intuitive hit that drops in when you say that is, did your cat, being only 14 months old, was he vaccinated within the last 12 months or so? And if so, go back and count how many vaccines and see if you can get an ingredients list. Make sure if there were heavy metals in those vaccines like thimerosal, aluminum, things like that are used in adjuvants, those can affect the brain. And Jay's here, she says Catalyst is excellent for helping support cats with seizures. But if you can definitely use that, it's an amazing antioxidant. I call it what did I tell you, Jay? It's like what is it? The fountain of youth for older kitties. Helps keep your cats young for sure. I would definitely do some detoxification if there are heavy metals in your cat's body. You can also do a hair tissue mineral analysis test to see what type of chemicals or heavy metals are in that so that you can address that. But it's important to know the why behind the whole condition. And let me think, if they're like environmental toxins, obviously, flea and tick medications, which are neurotoxins, can also contribute to seizures. And it's a very common side effect that, vets don't really like to talk about, but there are thousands and thousands of reports to the FDA every year about that. So look into those potential causes. She says, or he says, he was adopted from a shelter. So we may have to assume, well, shelters, I am all a fan of cat rescue, but I'm not a fan of shelters because they over vaccinate their pets. So it's a very likely chance your cat was over vaccinated. And he also had a dose of Revolution. Okay, so I would say do some detoxification. I do help people with balancing the body energetically. I have energy clearing modality services that can help you get your cat back into balance energetically and figure out what that looks like from products and diet and nutrition, lifestyle, things like that. Help him detoxify and things like that. What else was I going to suggest? Yeah, so if you want to do some diagnostics, do the hair tissue mineral analysis test, and definitely you can start supporting the liver. One of my favorite products for addressing all of that is called Venzio by Vengeance, and I have it in my store. All the Vengeance products are back in stock, by the way. Vengeance is a zeolite. It tastes like water in their formulation, but it's like nano-sized. It's tiny, tiny, tiny particles. So the cells allow it to enter very simple. And basically all those toxins and metals bind to the zeolite and the body flushes it out. So it also helps protect the liver. So chemicals, things like that. Add some Venzio, start that for sure. And there's also a product by them that is called Motherboard. Motherboard is like the power behind colostrum, and it is loaded with omega-3, mushrooms, things like that. It's an amazing product if the immune system is out of whack, and clearly something like this is. I would put him on the Venzio. I would put him on the Motherboard. I would use the antioxidant like Catalyst. Feed the freshest food that you can. And then after a little bit of time, detox those vaccines, because vaccines destroy, or they interrupt the body's life force every time you do one, because it's not a natural way to provide immunity the way they give them. So yeah, reach out if you want some help. I do free consultations. You can find it all on my website, perfectlyholistic.com. That's PURRR, perfectlyholistic.com. Yeah, hopefully, being so young, they are, tend to be more resilient when they're young. Let's pray that with the right supplementation and detoxification steps, um, maybe some diagnostics, if you want to look into that, you can get your cat back into balance and they can live a long, healthy, happy life, because that's the goal. Um, and yeah, Dr. Katie Kangas and Dr. Katie Woodley, Katie Woodley has private programs for gut health programs, so I don't know how well. Dr. Katie Woodley does offer the hair tissue mineral analysis test, but I think you can get it on Innovate. No, you can get it on not Innovative Pet Labs. Oh, there's another one. Let me just think about that for a second, and I'll come up with the answer for you. I'm just totally I can't think of the name at the moment, but there's another website, VDI Labs, vdilabs.com. They offer hair tissue mineral analysis tests as well. Let me see over here on, did you make sure I didn't miss anybody? Bonnie. Okay, Nasli, hey, yes. Okay, let me go back to Bonnie here. She says, Prince is vocalizing around the litter box at night. I know that in the past that has been indicative of bladder stress. So whatever you have used in the past that's been successful for that, try restarting that like twice a day, because he's going to keep. One of the symptoms of like UTIs and things like that for specific remedies is vocalizing around litter box. It's painful for them to pee. So why don't you go back and check, like Cantharis is coming to mind. That's a very common homeopathic remedy for UTIs in pets and for people. So try that and see. Start giving him something to alleviate, and then when you get to the vet appointment on Saturday, you could do a urinalysis and rule it, see exactly what's going on. But I know he's had that before, so it's probably that, and yes, it's probably stress related, and our pets pick up on our stress. And I know you guys are going through a lot of stress right now with Jasper and everything, and maybe your roommates. I don't know exactly, but I know in the past there's been several different things going on. So it's possible that he's just picking up the stress energy in the home. She says he's not blocked because he pees a lot. Yeah, and even if my energy is good, it still happens. Poor guy. He's a very sensitive boy, so it may not be because of your energy. It might be something in like his own energy. Yeah, something to think about for sure. There's always an answer for whatever is going on, and so when you can get to the root cause and address that, that is the key. So it might be emotional. It might just be that he's not cleaning himself very well. One of the most common bacterias that cause UTIs is E. coli, and when some cats just don't clean themselves very well, that E. coli bacteria can affect, their male sex organs and things like that. It can get inside their urethra. So that's probably or maybe contributing to that whole issue. Nasli says, Dr. Katie Woodley is a wonderful holistic vet. I concur with that, who runs an online program to help the kitty. Yes, and it's really her program is really focused on gut health. So if you think that's potentially part of the issue, then she would be a good person to talk to. Let me see what else. Did I miss somebody over here? Nasli said something about her dog, right? Oh no. Hang on. My dog Pookie is making a gulping sound, so I gave him honey. You know what I'm finding these days is postnasal drip from allergens. There are grasses, there are crowfoot grass, plantain, red clover, yarrow, dandelion, things like that are just prevalent everywhere right now. So they may not have like dripping out of their nose, but it's probably running down the back of their throat. And I find this a lot. It's the mucus. They're swallowing hard because it's draining. So try a remedy called Cali bicromium 30C. It's excellent for that particular symptom. And I know you're working on his overall gut health, so that helps, but you might need to provide some kind of respiratory support, supplemental. Oh, here's something really cool. I found a homeopathic version of quercetin, which is called Nature's Benadryl. Um, it's homeopathic, which is great for cats and even dogs, because it typically quercetin is so strong tasting the cats especially don't want to have anything to do with it. So maybe look, just do a Google search if you want something that doesn't taste bad and it's like liquid. You can just put it in, top of a little food or just squirt it directly in his mouth and see if that helps just support the immune system a little bit. But Kali, Kili, bicromium, just like it sounds, 30C would be the remedy I would try for postnasal drip. It's perfect for that kind of symptom. Oh, let's see. You're welcome, Bonnie. Okay. Then over here on YouTube, BJW says a 10-year-old fighting eosinophilic granuloma and overgrown to the point of bare skin like a sphinx. Yes. Okay. Vet has him on prednisolone and atopica. He is in the weaning stage for pred, but vet wants the atopica too. Yeah, I'm not a fan of atopica. The side effects of that product is awful. So I would say find the root cause of the eosinophilic granuloma. And again, it tends to be an overactive immune system. So go back and look at vet records. How many vaccines did that cat have? How many environmental toxins has it been exposed to? It can be indoor or outdoor. Look at cleaning products. Look at flea and tick medications. Look at diet. I think I saw something that you said that they eat a raw food, right? Smalls and Darwin's now. But they may not have at some point, right? Not everybody wakes up, on day one of having a cat that they're like, I need to feed a raw diet. Because I didn't. I used to feed dry food for years, sadly. And that can destroy the gut and weaken the immune system. So there's always a reason behind something like eosinophilic granuloma. You can do some research onto potential root causes and just kind of go through and see what you can rule out or possibilities you can rule in and address those kinds of things, even if it was something that was done years ago. You probably have some immune system restoration to do and some gut healing, because remember, about 80% of our immune system is in our gut. Cats too, dogs too. So keep that in mind. We've got to do some healing of the gut in order to help strengthen that. And okay, let's see. I'm reading his question. He says a 10-year-old has lost his roommate, a 13-year-old, and his 9.5-year-old foster brother in February, so cannot rule out stress, mourning, or other factors. True, but I rarely think that those are strong enough to weaken the immune system so much that it becomes like an autoimmune thing. So I would say peel back some more layers, look a little deeper around that. Those can be contributing for sure. And she goes, no, both boys used to eat dry kibble. Yep. I know, I don't judge anybody because I used to do it myself. And so until you learn better and you realize, oh my gosh, I could be doing so much better than you do, So good for you that they are eating really good quality food now. You're going to have some immune system and gut work to do, I think. He says, we have everyone on Ferapets probiotics and eat mushrooms and whole food vitamins. Here's the thing I would caution you on. Not if you're eating that kind of food, I don't know that you need whole food vitamins because those products are made with such good quality whole foods, and it is complete and balanced. It is not a processed pet food. You know what I'm saying? With synthetic ingredients. So I don't know that that's necessary. And pet probiotics, we can overdo probiotics if we're doing it all the time. You're only replacing those strains in the same quantities, which can cause SIBO, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, which is a whole other problem. So rethink doing the constant probiotics. I don't agree that cats need that all the time, nor do dogs. Now the immune mushrooms are excellent. You may also want to look at the motherboard product. Um, and again, peel back the layers and figure out where it's coming from, because until you do that, you can have all the greatest products and supplements in the world, but you're not addressing the root cause. When you address the root cause and you can figure it out, whether you want to go through diagnostic testing like chemical and heavy metal testing and things like that, or if you want to do more of an energetic approach like the stuff that I do, you're it would give you more insight. Like peel back the layer and look under the hood, so to speak, and figure out what is throwing everything off. Then you'll get the best results because then you'll know how to address the issue. All right. I think I'm caught up over here. Those are great questions. Um, all right. Yeah, pet communicator. I love animal communication, but they're not really going to dive into the diagnostics of a root cause. They're not going to be able to look under the hood and check heavy metal levels and chemicals that are in the blood, checking organ function to the degree that you probably need with that kind of condition. But if you wanted to check in and just see how they're doing emotionally, or if there's disresonance with other family members, excellent, by far and large, excellent. I love that, especially in dealing with grief as well. So you have so many tools. I think people just don't realize how many tools they have. Okay, let me see if I miss anybody else. Sorry, guys, I'm losing my voice. Can you tell? Okay, a little stuffy over here. Hi, Tony. She says, my older cat is now on frozen raw food. Yay. Will they not poop as frequently? He seems to go every fourth day, and the poop is hard. I've tried adding more water, but it's still the same. Would raw goat's milk or bone broth make a difference? Not necessarily. It may not be the hydration. It might be more of a lack of fiber. I think you have colon rescue, right? So try the colon rescue. And I know you know how to muscle test. There might be some specific fiber that you can add into the food, especially older cats. They should be pooping every day at least once, okay? But yes, their poops will be small. They will be hardly smelly, okay, which is great. So the quantity will be much, much less because their body is absorbing more of the food nutrients and utilizing it, and there's less residue. So I don't know that it's not necessarily the lack of hydration. And then I know that he struggles with like root chakra issues and not feeling safe and things like that and grounded. So it could be just some constriction energetically in that area that's holding things in a little longer than it should. So supporting his root chakra energetically with herbs, like an herb garden that he can sniff, sit on, smell, absorb all the molecules of the plants. Valerian, angelica root, yarrow is really good. Maybe even something like chamomile, sometimes lavender can be really soothing and comforting. Colors red and green can be very grounding. So I would probably start with something like that. And maybe it's time for another energy session to clear whatever is blocking that whole process from moving. So older cats tend to develop, in my experience, they can develop more constipation. Just age can be part of that, but it can be helped. So not every cat needs pumpkin. It doesn't necessarily resonate with everybody, every cat. So there's other types of fiber, and you probably don't need to add a whole lot because I know he's eating a really good quality diet. But maybe if it's just a quarter of a teaspoon, test like coconut chips, test coconut oil, test psyllium husk, test inulin, test dark leafy greens, broccoli sprouts, chopped up dandelion greens, chopped up like minced. We're talking a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. Um, oh, what is it? Jerusalem artichoke is a good source. Any kind of low glycemic cruciferous, vegetable, Brussels sprouts, broccoli sprouts, things like that, as well as squashes, pureed cucumber. So those are just ideas. And again, it does maybe a quarter teaspoon because he's already getting some in his food, but he may not have enough. And if that still isn't fixing the motility issue, along with like the colon rescue, then it's probably an energetic thing, maybe an emotion, excuse me, an emotional block. So yeah, it's so easy to get myopic on the diet and the supplements when and the physical, aspects of a health condition. We forget the emotional and the spiritual components. It's like three sides of a triangle, guys. We can't just address one. We have to address all of them. And when you can put the body in alignment, emotionally, physically, spiritually, things just flow and they move so much better. And it's not just for our pets, it's for us too. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's so easy to get lost in the weeds. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope that gives you some thoughts to think about. Let's do one more question before I lose my voice here. Does anybody have anything else they want to ask? This has been great. Great question tonight and great topics. Make sure I didn't miss anybody over here on Instagram. I guess we're good over here. I don't think I missed anybody over on YouTube. Let me just double check one more time. And I think we're good. Oh no, Betsy, sorry, I totally missed you. She's getting a new kitty on the 17th. Oh my goodness. Please get yourself well. I'm working on it. Lady sends her love and is getting over a bacteria infection too in the bladder. Oh, I am excited for your new baby. Hopefully, Lady will enjoy her new friend and family member. That would be, I'm so excited to see pictures. That's awesome. Let's see. I think that was everybody's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Yep, I need to do some clearing on myself and see if there's anything environmentally that is just lurking around that's contributing to some of this residue. So, yeah, thank you guys so much. Let me just stop and think real quick if there's anything else I wanted to share. Just a couple of really cool things coming up this month. Jay and Adrian and I are teaming up and we are interviewing Dr. Amaya Espindola, who is a feline vet, and Dr. Katie Kangas, and we're going to talk about upper respiratory issues in cats and how to find root causes and how to support the cat and help healing, not just putting, Band-Aids on symptoms and things like that. So that's going to be a really cool show. And it's going to be on Saturday, the 21st of this month. We're going to do it on a Saturday so more people can watch it. And it's going to be in the midday, early afternoon because Amaya is in Spain. So we have a 9-hour difference between the Pacific coast and Spain where she is. And then on the radio show this month, join us if you want to tap into a little woo-woo. We are talking about the paranormal because, there is a reality of spirits and entities out there, and they're called our pets who visit us. And the veil is very thin right now, and there's a lot of visitations going on. So we are going to talk to somebody, one of my teachers, in fact, that I reached out to because she is so tapped into a lot of the paranormal and the woo-woo. And we're going to talk about that issue and how to help our pet parents through and understand why our pets are here, what if there's messages or if they're just checking in on us, and how we can support our current household pets not feel scared. And if you ever see your cat like looking up in a corner and you don't see anything up there, never second guess it, because they can see things we can't. It's fascinating, and I hope you'll join us for that. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight before I totally lose my voice. You guys have a great weekend, and reach out, book a free consultation via my website, perfectlyholistic.com. I'd love to support you and your kitty cats, and we will see you next time. Y'all have a great evening. Bye, everyone.